I want to help you turn your game from this to this. Unlike the other guides out there, this one will focus on turning you into an intelligent and well-informed modder. What you're seeing now is something really amazing. You are the witness of an entirely vanilla Skyrim Special Edition game. It's wonderful, clean, organized, and most importantly, stable. Think of this as your healthy newborn child, one that you will be able to mold and shape as you please. For comparison, this is my heavily modded game folder. Ugly, right? I know. Unfortunately, we won't be able to preserve the slim nature of this folder entirely, but we will do our best to keep it as clean and pristine as possible. One thing that I want you to see though is that if we open up both data folders, by the way, this is where all the data needed for your game to operate is stored, we see that there isn't too much discrepancy between the two. Ideally, with Mod Organizer, the mod management tool that we'll be using for our game, these folders should look identical. I have some other files in here because I play around with the creation kit and other mod development tools, if you're wondering. These aren't important for now. I'm showing you this because chances are you've probably installed mods on your game, be it manually, i.e. putting files in this folder by hand, through Steam, or possibly even another mod management tool. Regardless of which of these methods you used, there have still been additional files placed in this folder, and these files can cause problems for us later down the road unless we reset the game back to its vanilla state. So if the game is vanilla before we mod it, we won't have any problems later on. Alright, so hopefully now you understand why we need to reinstall our game cleanly. Now, let's talk about where we want to install it. Let's open up File Explorer and head to this PC. As you can see, I have 4 drives on my computer, C, D, E, and F. Yours will most definitely be different than mine. What you will surely see though is a C drive, local disk C. Let's open that up. This is the drive where your operating system is installed, and also the one that we want to try to avoid installing Skyrim Special Edition 2. Installing Special Edition here can cause administrator and permission issues with certain mods. Your best bet is to have a separate SSD from your C drive for your modded games. Hard drives can have ridiculously long loading times with a lot of mods present, so you definitely want to avoid them as well. If for some reason you don't have any other drives or C is your only SSD, you will have to install your game here. When doing this, do not install Skyrim into Program Files or Program Files x86. This will most certainly lead to the prior issues. The problem is that by default, Steam automatically installs games to the Program Files folder. Because of this, we will need to uninstall and reinstall Skyrim Special Edition to a more appropriate location. I honestly suggest moving all your games out of there and just installing Steam on your C root directory, but that's a little piece of advice outside of this guide. If you do have a separate drive that you want to dedicate to modded titles, I suggest creating a folder inside of it for modding utilities, and a library folder as well for your games. Though it's up to you. You will need a place to store your modding utilities though, so definitely make some place to store those. The other important directory to note is your saves folder located in C, Users, your username, Documents, My Games, Skyrim Special Edition. Also included here are 2 files called Skyrim and SkyrimPrefs.ini. These are where your game settings are stored. If you don't see the .ini at the end of it, it's because you don't have file name extensions enabled. To enable those, hit View and check File Name Extensions. Seeing these is very important for modding, so I suggest keeping them enabled. Basically, they just tell you what kind of file you're looking at. Anyway, you'll want to delete everything in here manually like so. If you want to keep backups of your saves, you can, but there are no guarantees that they will work with entirely different mod load orders. If you're not using Steam, this is probably as much of the guide as you'll find helpful, as I'll be going into the installation details for that later. Just remember to uninstall Special Edition using your game DRM and reinstall it to one of the locations specified. After uninstalling, it's a good idea to go back into the folder it was located and make sure that there's nothing left, as usually only vanilla game files will be uninstalled. Run Skyrim and go to the main menu to recreate the ini files previously discussed. After that, quit out and you'll be all set up with a clean game. For those of you interested in the Steam details, let's begin. The first thing we want to do is tell Steam the location we want to install our games to. Open up Steam, and in the top left, click Steam, and open up the settings. Go to Downloads and hit Steam Library Folders. If your preferred location is already in this list, you can skip the next part. Hit Add Library Folder. Select the drive you want to install to. For me, that's my separate D drive SSD. Navigate to the location you want to install to here. I'm going to follow my previous advice and put it in my root directory, which is already opened. Once again, remember that if you're installing to C, do not install into either of the program files folders. Hit Add Library Folder. I like to name mine Steam Library, but if you're only using it for modded titles, you could name it Modded Games, or something to that effect. Just remember its name and location, as you will be frequently visiting it. Click OK, and you're good to go. I'm going to cancel because I already have it. Next up, we want to uninstall our previously installed game. If you have a slow internet connection or just want to save time when reinstalling, you can always navigate to your old Skyrim data directory, copy these main asset files, and paste them into your newly created data folder in the new Skyrim Special Edition location you plan to install to. This is for more advanced users, so I won't be going into it any further. Just know that manually resetting Skyrim to vanilla is always an option, so long as you know which files to keep. As for the rest of us, we open up Steam, find Special Edition, right-click, and uninstall. Let's go back to the old install path and delete the Skyrim Special Edition folder if it's still there, just to make sure everything's gone. By default, its directory is C, Program Files, Steam, Steam Apps, Common. After that, go back to Steam and reinstall. You can create shortcuts if you wish, but if you're following my guides, you won't need them, so leave them unchecked. Choose the install location we just created, or one that you had from before. To reiterate, once again, not one of the Program Files folders. Hit Next, agree to the EULA, wait for Steam to locate the required space, and finish. Once your download is complete, run the game from Steam. Let it detect your hardware. It should detect Ultra if you have any kind of remotely decent hardware. If it messes this up for some reason though, and you know your hardware is adequate, open up Options, select Ultra yourself, hit OK, and hit play. Once we get to the main menu, the game should have generated all the appropriate files, and we can quit out. Congratulations! You now have a special edition that is so fresh and so clean. You're also ready to start modding. If you want to keep it clean, continue following my guides, where we'll be using Mod Organizer. Remember to like this video and subscribe if it was helpful. It really helps me out. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them down below. I always reply quickly, so you will get the help you're looking for. Other than that, if you're following my guides, the next video will be to the left, if it's out. And if you don't know what this modding series is about, I recommend you check out the overview to the right. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.